Always a couple seconds delay before it actually picks up my game. But we are in business now. I got it working, the controller situation. So sorry about that. So frustrating. And I suck so bad at using a keyboard to play games because I was a console girl from like age 10 until, I don't know, 3 years ago when I got my first like actual gaming computer. And so I just never learned keyboard controls. And uh, I would really suck at it now if I tried. So I'm not going to put you guys through that. But we got it working now, so we are ready to jump back in. So last time when we left off, we had just finished our joining, which was a success. We did not die, which is, the outcome you want. So we got that going for us. Bad news, everybody else in our party died except, Alistair and Duncan. So that was rough. If you missed it, one of them died from the actual joining. So in the joining, I guess maybe we should talk about the joining. Let's see if we have a codex on that. I wonder if they gave us one. If not, I'll just word vomit about it. Yeah, they didn't. Okay. So the joining is the ritual that you undertake to become a Grey Warden, and essentially you're drinking. In this game, really all they talk about is like darkspawn blood and I think like herbs that are added to it. You find out later in the last novel of the series, the Last Flight, which that entire novel centers around the fourth blight, which is the blight before this one. If you're interested in Grey Warden lore, I 100% recommend reading it. It's not my favorite of the novels in terms of like the writing. No offense to the author. I just there were just some things that I thought could be better, and like it just wasn't my favorite from that perspective. But in terms of a lore perspective, and especially in terms of kind of piggybacking off of what happens in Origins, it's a really good source of lore. So highly recommend it if you are interested in the Grey Wardens. But anyway, going back to the joining, in that novel, they say that it is darkspawn blood from just like any old darkspawn, plus a drop of blood from an archdemon, and then lyrium. So who knows what it actually is? Maybe the process changed from, the time period of the fourth blight to the fifth blight, and they've like changed up the formula or whatever. But anyway, those are kind of the different components that go into the the smoothie of doom that you drink. So you drink it, and if you survive, then you are, yay, you're a Grey Warden. Congratulations, you graduated. If you don't survive, then you don't survive. But it seems like it's a pretty grim death. Like in the cutscene where they show our party member who died, like it looked painful. It looked uncomfortable. So yeah, do not recommend. Not a good way to go. So he actually died from the joining, but then so that was Davith, the rogue guy who was kind of a smartass and real sassy and was trying to bang that one girl at the beginning when we met him at first. Unsuccessful, by the way. But then Sir Jory, who you meet him near the chantry section of camp, and he's like talking about honor and glory and like he's so glad to be here to fight for what's right and blah blah blah. He chickens out and is like, no, I'm not doing this. I have a wife and kids, which like valid, like you don't want to leave your wife and kids, but like when you sign up to be a Grey Warden, you have to know that like death is pretty high probability. Like even if you don't die from the joining, like even if you know nothing about the whole darkspawn joining calling aspect of the whole Grey Warden order, like you still have to figure you might get ganked by a darkspawn. So why it was surprising to him that this was a risk, I do not know. But anyway, he wimped out, and because he had found out the secret of the joining ritual, Duncan couldn't let him live. So Duncan kills him. So yeah, that was fun. Lots of therapy in her future, I hope. But we survived, and now we're getting ready to go risk death again by fighting the Darkspawn Horde. So We're going to go talk to King Kalen and kind of find out what the master plan is. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to double check real quick, but I think we've like dotted all of our I's and crossed all of our T's in terms of like our side quests and stuff. Yeah, we don't have anything outstanding except for this. So let's go talk to Kalen. Also, if I'm talking weird tonight, I apologize. I worked today and one of the dogs at work popped me under my jaw. And you know how sometimes when you get jarred under your jaw, it like snaps your teeth together? It did that to me and my tongue was kind of in the way. So I chomped the side of my tongue. So like this whole side is really swollen and kind of hurts. So if I start slurring, it's not because I'm drunk, it's because my tongue is huge and hurts a lot.
Loghain, my decision is final. I will stand by the Grey Wardens in this assault.
You risk too much, Kalen. The Darkspawn Horde is too dangerous for you to be playing hero on the front lines.
If that's the case, perhaps we should wait for the Orlesian forces to join us after all.
I must repeat my protest to your fool notion that we need the Orlesians to defend ourselves.
Let me know how the audio is.
It is not a
It's
fool
loud
notion.
enough.
Our arguments with the Orlesians are a thing of the past, and you will remember who is king.
How fortunate Marek did not live to see his son ready to hand Ferelden over to those who enslaved us for a century.
Then our current forces will have to suffice, won't they? Duncan, are your men ready for battle?
They are, Your Majesty.
And this is the recruit I met earlier on the road? I understand congratulations are in order.
I'm gonna make one quick adjustment real quick so that I can actually see the chat. There we go. We'll thank him. We'll say thank you. We'll be nice and polite. He's a king, after all.
Every Grey Warden is needed now.
And legends will be your undoing, Kalen. We must attend to reality.
Fine. Speak your strategy. The Grey Wardens and I draw the Darkspawn into charging our lines, and then?
You will alert the tower to light the beacon, signaling my men to charge from cover.
To flank the Darkspawn, I remember. This is the Tower of Ishal in the ruins, yes? Well, who shall light this beacon?
I have a few men stationed there. It's not a dangerous task, but it is vital.
Then we should send our best. Send Alistair and the new Grey Warden to make sure it's done.
You mean I won't be fighting in the battle?
We need the beacon. Without it, Loghain's men won't know when to charge.
You see? Glory for everyone.
You rely on these Grey Wardens too much. Is that truly wise?
Enough of your conspiracy theories, Loghain. Grey Wardens battle the Blight no matter where they're from.
Your Majesty, you should consider the possibility of the Archdemon appearing.
There have been no signs of any dragons in the wilds.
Isn't that what your men are here for, Duncan?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, the tower and its beacon are unnecessary. The
We
Circle
will
of
not
Magi...
trust any lives to your spells, Mage. Save them for the Darkspawn.
Just cut the tension with a knife right now.
Enough! This plan will suffice. The Grey Wardens will light the beacon.
Thank you, Loghain. I cannot wait for that glorious moment. The Grey Wardens battle beside the King of Ferelden to stem the tide of evil.
Yes, Kalen. A glorious moment for us all.
I'm sure it's gonna go great.
You heard the plan. You and Alistair will go to the Tower of Ishal and ensure the beacon is lit.
What? I won't be in the battle.
What?
This is by the King's personal request, Alistair. If the beacon is not lit, Tern Loghain's men won't know when to charge.
So he needs 2 Grey Wardens standing up there holding the torch, just in case, right?
Where is this Tower of Ishal?
The tower is on the other side of the gorge from the King's camp, the way we came when we arrived. You'll need to cross the gorge and head through the gate and up to the tower entrance. From the top, you'll overlook the entire valley.
Sounds like a piece of cake. Where will you be during all of this?
I will be fighting beside the King with the rest of the Grey Wardens. again at his request. We will signal you when the time is right. Alistair will know what to look for.
Feels like such a stupid question. Are we in any danger?
Of course, even the best laid plans go awry.
It's a war, lady.
So do what you must. I trust you both.
Just not enough to actually fight with the rest of you.
There will be plenty of battles, Alistair. Be patient.
How much time do we have?
The battle is about to begin. Once I leave, move quickly. You'll have less than an hour.
What about that archdemon?
We soil our drawers, that's what.
If it does, leave it to us. I want no heroics from either of you.
Can we join the battle afterward?
Stay with the Terran's men and guard the tower. If you are needed, we will send word.
I know what I have to do.
Then I must join the others. From here, you two are on your own. Remember, you are both Grey Wardens. I expect you to be worthy of that title.
Be on your
Duncan.
best behavior.
May the Maker watch over you.
May he watch over us all.
Don't be embarrassing me in front of the Darkspawn. Okay, so let's go and do this thing. After we get through all of this, and kind of the scene after that, which I'm hoping we'll at least get that far tonight, I do want to talk a little bit about Loghain and Kaelin, because the conversation that they just had about waiting for the Wardens of Orlais to come and help, and Loghain being so against that idea. I know that we've mentioned that Orlais was ruling Ferelden for a while, that like when Loghain kind of came up in his career as a hero of Ferelden, Ferelden was actually still under Orlesian rule, and he was one of the ones that helped to gain independence. And so there's that angle, but there's more to it, and it goes a little bit deeper than that. So I do want to delve into that once we get through all of this, but I'm going to wait until I just want to get this over with. This battle is not hard, but it's just obnoxious and stupid, so just get through it. There she is. Hi, puppies. Incense? Because why not?
The plan will work, Your Majesty.
Of course it will. The blight ends here.
I admire your optimism, boys. Keep that attitude. Got our first glimpse of an ogre there. That big tall thing with horns.
Archers!
This part sucks. I'm just gonna warn you now.
For Ferelden!
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Let's cross the bridge and get to the Tower of Ishal.
Rip, little puppy. Paused? I didn't pause you. Oh. So if you don't get across the bridge fast enough, you can actually get hit by one of those like huge fireballs. It's pretty great. Alright, let's go talk to these guys.
They're everywhere. You're Grey Wardens, aren't you? The tower, it's been taken.
What are you
gave it
talking
away?
about, man? Taken how?
The Darkspawn came up through the lower chambers. They're everywhere. Most of our men are dead.
Then we have to get to the beacon and light it ourselves.
So we are going to go do that, but real quick first, there's not like a ton to explore in this area because they really want you to like, you know, go do what you're supposed to and not like fuck around. But I just want to give you guys a glimpse of how massive the Darkspawn horde is because it's kind of impressive. So there's the bulk of the horde down below and they're just like pouring in from the mountain with like no end in sight to just the stream of Darkspawn. And like obviously it's a looped animation so it'll go on forever, but yeah, just absolutely unfathomable numbers of Darkspawn that you're expected to hold off here. So I just thought that was cool for scale. All right, let's go into the tower and see what's up. Fight some Darkspawn. Oh, rude. Here, you little fucker.
On it.
Good job, guys. So, do recommend looting the Darkspawn that you fight outside of the tower because you're going to get a lot of these acid flasks. And especially, it's not as big of a deal on easy because like none of the fights are that big of a deal on easy. But especially on the harder difficulties, you are going to want those when you get into the tower because there's a lot of groups that are going to attack us. And so having area of effect stuff like that is really helpful, especially in the early game when you don't probably have a lot of area of effect abilities yourself. So just a little tip. I don't know why they carry acid on them frequently, but Darkspawn are good for that. So take what you can get. Ah. Apparently those are very solid bushes there. Uncrossable. This bastard.
Let's get started. Time for some fun. Only one will stand. On it.
I'm sure my party members are like, why are you picking fucking flowers? We have a beacon to light. Focus. I feel that way in Inquisition too. I almost never use a mount because I collect materials all the time, and even if I have plenty of it, I don't know, it's like a compulsion. But I just imagine them like, you know, fighting off a bear while I'm just picking some elf fruit. Sorry, guys.
Trap.
All right, let's see if I can. Ah, no!
Right.
This is it! Maker!
Ah! There is your weakness. On it. On it. Desperation is an ugly perfume. A little further. I can see why. This should be easy.
I'm amazed I managed to disarm that trap in time. I saw a tweet that was posted in one of my Discord groups. It was something along the lines of like, why bother upping my trap detection skills when Alistair will just disarm all of them with his shins? And it's very true. He often blindly stumbles into something that lights us all on fire. Bless him. I love my stupid boyfriend. Anything else? I think that's the only chest in here. Yee. Alright. Some lovely additions to the statuary there. Lots of dismembered bodies on pikes throughout here. That seems to be the preferred method of decor for Darkspawn. Very classy, I think.
Right. Let's get started. As you let's get started. Let's get started.
Asshole. Anybody want to give me a hand here? This guy's kind of kicking my butt.
Only one shall stand.
Oh my god, get out of the way, mage.
As you wish.
Alright.
We must get to the top of the tower.
I don't want to talk to
Let's
you,
get
I want to
started.
loot bodies.
This should be easy enough.
We must get to the top of the tower.
Not you. I know my job, I read the instructions.
Let's get started.
Interesting statue. I'm pretty sure that the books and stuff in the Tower of Ashal aren't
On it.
like codex entries or anything. The last time I went through this level, I feel like I was pretty thorough in scouring all those, so if anybody knows that to be incorrect, please let me know, but and now we see where they're coming in from. There's the big hole in the bottom where they're coming up. I don't think there's anything on this end of the hall. Yeah, there's not. Good old backstabbing.
On it.
So many daggers. I don't need any of them. Here's some of those dismembered bodies I was talking about. Lovely. Real nice. Alright. Second level. Here we go.
Maker's breath. What are these Darkspawn doing ahead of the rest of the Horde? There wasn't supposed to be any resistance here.
Could try telling them they're in the wrong place.
Right, because clearly this is all just a misunderstanding. We'll laugh about this later. At any rate, we need to hurry.
Won't.
We need to get up to the top of the tower and light the signal fire in time. Tyron Loghain will be waiting for the signal.
Alright. Nice big open chamber here with lots more dead bodies, and this time we have some heads on spikes. So, it's nice that they're mixing it up for us, I guess. Is that just a pelvis? It is. Oh no, it's attached to a spine. Oh no, it's not attached to the spine. Lots of pelvises. Just laying around.
This should be easy enough.
So many red dots. Alright, we're gonna go in this door first. Cool. Well done. Well done. Good teamwork. That's annoying. Oh, I should have sold a bunch of stuff before I started this quest. Mer, mer, mer. There's not a whole lot in the tower that's like really worth anything, but when we defeat the boss, there's some decent stuff. So, and injury kits are always good to have. So, I don't think we have any jewelry that we can equip. I guess I could equip a helmet. Ugh. It's just so stupid looking. I realize I'm being that person, but it really does look dumb. Interesting. Feel like I would look better with the scout cap. He seems like more of a steel helmet kind of guy than me. Still looks dumb, but not as dumb. Okay. Tower guard. I mean, I don't want to give you anything good. So... Here, you can have a helmet. You can have these gloves. I don't need them. There we go. Alright, we're not going to go through there yet. We're going to go across this little hallway here and into this other chamber first. Yeah, I see you, motherfucker. Just do not perceive me yet. Please.
Cursed creatures!
Cursed creatures indeed. Oh my gosh, get out of my way.
Let's get started.
Ooh, that's a nice little hit. Okay. It's really annoying when I move into flank and I'm like in a really good backstab position and then my teammates mess it up and then I'm front stabbing instead. Way to ruin my plans. Okay, so we're gonna go this direction and we're gonna go out this door for a very specific reason. Because if we go this way, we can use the ballistas.
Dark Sun, destroy the field. As you wish.
I need you to get a little closer. Ah, well.
Show me what you got. Let's get started. Is it just me or do I see you? As you wish.
So if you can get the ballista pointed in the right direction, it's actually really helpful. I think I only got off like one good shot, but that's okay. They're kind of fun. I made the mistake.
Stay down.
You tell him, honey. I made the mistake the first time that I played this level of... I'll just show you what I did. I came at it from the other direction, fought all these guys off, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should go and explore that, like, back area. So I came up to the ballista, and I was like, oh, a ballista, what's this?
This should be easy enough.
So, yeah. Learn from my mistakes. Don't recommend doing that. Alright, and we got everything over there. Oh, you're still glowing. What do you got? Money. Okay. Come in here, fight off some more dudes.
Cursed creatures! Move and parry, strike and shield! On your guard! Look at this mess, I love it! Here we go!
Oh, there's still another dude. Sorry, guys. Got distracted by the loot.
Yeah, that's right. What did I tell you?
Let's get started. On it.
I don't need any more boots. I have so many boots, you guys. If you could give me just, like, literally anything else, that would be great. This is an interesting little figure. So, if you do the city elf origin, this shows up in the, like, nobleman's house that you're poking around in randomly. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I've always thought it was interesting. I wonder if it's supposed to be like a darkspawn skull or something. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
should be easy enough.
Loghain better be ready to charge as soon as we light the signal. The king is depending on us.
I'm sure he'll be right on that.
Darkspawn approach.
Yeah,
Watch for
I
their
know.
blood. Let's get started. On it. Let's get started.
Okay.
On it.
See what I mean about these acid flasks? They're everywhere. I feel like that's very much a deliberate choice. Like, you're gonna want these.
Right.
And I haven't actually used any yet, because like I said, on easy it's pretty simple getting through here, but yeah. They're also useful in the boss battle. Here we're gonna release the kennels and let the doggos help us.
No quarter! Is it just me, or do you actually think you have a chance? This should be on it. Right. Let's get started.
All right. Pretty sure that there is a caddis in here, which is the war paint that the Mabari wear. So that's kind of like equipping armor for your Mabari companion. Yep, there we go. Thank you, friends. Good puppies.
On it. Right.
Woohoo!
As you wish. Right.
Oh, is there still a dude out there? Sorry, y'all. Was not paying attention to the map. Alright. You guys had it. You were fine. You didn't need me. You could have taken this tower all by yourself. Okay. Nothing in there.
This should be easy enough.
So, if you're listening to the background noise, I'll be quiet for a second so you can hear it, but, those loud booming noises that sound scary and foreboding should be a clue as to what's about to happen. I don't really need that ring. We're about to use some of our potions and stuff too, but still, clear out some space. I always clear space and then forget to be picky after that, and then I just fill it right back up again. I do that with purses in real life too. I'll get a big purse and think, oh, well, now I have all this room, and then I'll just immediately fill it with stuff that I don't need to carry around all the time. It's uncalled for. Master Warden?
Excellent!
I feel like Master is overselling it a little.
Let's get started.
I don't need those. We're gonna just leave those there. And there's usually not anything super exciting in the weapon stand either. I do have a character who will use a two-handed weapon at some point, and I guess it is better than this one, so we'll save this for him when we eventually meet him. Oh, I guess I can level up real quick too before we do our boss battle. Not that it's that hard on this difficulty, but ooh, I get a skill. I'm gonna level up my coercion. Let's do that one. Okay. Oh, Alistair is also due for a level up as well. His constitution sucks starting out. Which, you know, if you want him to be your tank, getting that up is helpful. I like leveling up this chain because shield wall is pretty useful for him, especially since his constitution already starts out kind of crappy. So that's usually the branch that I start working on. Okay, here we go. Saddle up. About to get real. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put my bombs and my flasks in my quick access bar because I'm gonna want those. Don't really have anything else that will be super useful for this particular boss, so. Why is it still saying Alistair has a level up? Did we not finish? Oh, I didn't assign all his points. I'm tired. Can you tell? It was a long day. Okay, now, here we go. Cool, cool. Very cool.
Destroy the fiends. Let's get started. This should be easy.
Why is this not doing what I want it to do? There we go.
Easy enough.
Let go of my boyfriend.
Let's get started. Let's get started.
The beacon is over here.
surely missed the signal.
So, I was kind of hoping that somebody would actually, like, land a killing blow on him with a weapon. Because when you do, it does this, like, badass animation, but whatever. Dead is dead, right? Okay.
Let's light it quickly before it's too late.
I don't think there's anything else in here. This music is excessive. The fight's over. Shh. Alright, let's light this fucker.
Sound the retreat.
But what about the king? Should we not...
Do as I command.
Plot twist.
Pull out! All of you, let's move!
I hate that part. It bums me out every time.
Ah, your eyes finally open. Mother shall be pleased.
Just hanging out at Morrigan's house in my sexy lingerie. I remember you, the girl from the wilds.
I am Morrigan, lest you have forgotten, and we are in the wilds, where I am bandaging your wounds. You are welcome, by the way. How does your memory fare? Do you remember Mother's rescue?
What happened to the army and the king?
The man who was to respond to your signal quit the field. The Darkspawn won your battle. Those he abandoned were massacred. Your friend, he is not taking it well.
You mean Alistair?
The suspicious dim-witted one who was with you before, yes. He is outside by the fire. Mother asked to see you when you awoke.
She's so mean to poor Alistair. Although, he gets shitty with her too. Thank you for helping me, Morrigan.
You were welcome. Though Mother did most of the work, I am no healer.
I love catching her off guard by just being nice to her. I have some questions.
I do not mind. Take your time.
Are there any survivors besides us?
Only stragglers that are long gone. You would not want to see what is happening in that valley now.
Why did Terran Loghain abandon the king? That's the million-dollar question.
I do not know who this Loghain even is. Perhaps ask Mother of it.
What's a Loghain? How did she manage to rescue us? That's a valid question.
She turned into a giant bird and plucked the two of you from atop the tower, one in each talon. If you do not believe that tale, then I suggest you ask Mother yourself. She may even tell you.
That tale is not unrealistic. Flemeth and Morrigan can both shapeshift, so. Why did your mother save us?
I wonder at that myself. But she tells me nothing. Perhaps you were the only ones she could reach. I would have rescued your king. A king would be worth a much higher ransom than you.
She got a point. Much higher.
What a sensible attitude. Mother is seldom sensible, however.
Are we safe here? Where are those darkspawn?
We are safe, for the moment. Mother's magic keeps the darkspawn away. Once you leave, 'tis uncertain what will happen. The Horde has moved on, so you might avoid it.
That'd be nice. I think I've asked enough questions.
I agree. 'Tis time you speak with Mother, then be on your way.
Someone's feeling testy. So, yeah. I think this is a good time for a debrief on what we just saw and Loghain's kind of motivations for what he did. So, I see that we have a codex entry for Duncan. We have codex entries for several people. So let's start with Loghain. So obviously not a new one, it's just added on to the end. During the battle at Ostagar, he fled the field, leaving King Kaelin and the Grey Wardens to die. So it might seem like this was kind of extreme. Just based on like a tiff that he had with King Kaelin over like, you know, liking the Grey Wardens too much and being willing to ally with Orlais. But it's a little bit deeper than that. So Loghain, as I mentioned, when he and King Merrick were first teaming up, Ferelden was still under Orlesian rule. And so, you know, all the Fereldans who were like loyal to the Ferelden crown, of course, hated Orlesians just by nature of that rivalry, right? But Loghain had a very personal hatred for Orlesians because when he was a young boy, his father and him, they were both made to watch while Orlesian soldiers violated and murdered his mom. Loghain also had a female Mabari who was like his best friend. She was like the love of his life, and the Orlesians also captured her and then ended up killing her too. And so, and they also killed his dad. Loghain and Merrick make like a stand against the Orlesians with this little like ragtag team of outlaws that Loghain and his dad kind of got together. And in that battle, like right before it happens, Loghain's dad recognizes that, you know, Merrick is the last hope for the crown and wants to do what's right for Ferelden and what's right for the crown. So Merrick rewards him by making him a knight. And then very shortly after that, during the battle, he gets cut down by Orlesian soldiers. So the Orlesians have taken everything that Loghain cares about. The thing with the Grey Wardens, he has a lot of resentment toward the Wardens as well. I mentioned in a previous video that like Merrick kind of fucks off with the Grey Wardens to the Deep Roads for a little while. And during that time, Loghain is acting as kind of the regent and overseeing all of the kingly duties that Merrick is not doing while he is while he's traveling with the Wardens. there is also, so Rowan gets sick and dies, and she ends up, it's suspected that the reason that she dies is because of some time that she and Loghain and Merrick spent in the deep roads as well, escaping from Orlesians. So in a roundabout way, Orlesians kind of also took Rowan from Loghain, and if you remember, there was this weird like love rectangle between Loghain and Rowan and Merrick and the elf that Merrick was sort of his thing on the side. Was betrothed to Rowan, but he and Catriel the elf were also lovers. And so there's this weird like love rectangle between the four of them, but Loghain, I think, loved Rowan for the rest of his life, even though he ended up getting married to someone else. And so the Orlesians, if they hadn't been fighting them, they wouldn't have been in the deep roads in the first place. She never would have gotten exposed to the taint, and if that is what ended her life, then that I think he probably chalks up to the Orlesians too. There's also the issue of his loyalty to Ferelden, which, you know, he has had loves, but none of those loves has ever trumped his love for his country. He actually kind of betrays Rowan a little bit in that he sort of manipulates her into taking his side against Catriel, which is part of the reason that Merrick murders Catriel in a fit of rage when he finds out that she's a spy. And so Rowan feels very used by him, and that was something that he did because he thought it was for the good of Ferelden. So he has always kind of been willing to sacrifice anyone for Ferelden. And I think this is an example of not only his hatred for Orlesians, being reluctant to team up with them, being reluctant to team up with the Grey Wardens, but also that he, like, nobody is safe from his loyalty to his country. He believes that if he stays in the battle and goes up against this horde alongside King Kaelin, that it's going to be pointless because he and all of his men will be slaughtered. The wardens will be gone because they're also all getting slaughtered. And then who is going to defend Orlais if he and his men charge in and they also get killed? He feels like that leaves Ferelden, or sorry, I didn't mean to say who will defend Orlais. I meant to say who will defend Ferelden. So he feels like that will leave Ferelden completely defenseless. And, you know, maybe he's not wrong. Another interesting piece of lore that I wanted to bring up too, which I don't think I've mentioned before. At the beginning of Loghain and Merrick's travels, they actually run into Flemeth in the woods. And there is a portion of time where Merrick and Flemeth speak privately inside the hut while Loghain waits outside. And you find out later that she told him about this blight and all of that, and he makes a promise to her, which we'll find out what that's about later. And I'll talk about that when we talk about Merrick's fate and the comics and stuff. But anyway, during a conversation that he and Flemeth have right in front of Loghain, she tells him, Loghain is going to betray you, and every time he betrays you, it is going to be worse than the last. So yeah, Flemeth kind of saw this coming. She saw it coming that he was gonna, you know, sleep with Rowan, that he was going to turn Merrick against Catriel, and in a way to sort of harden him. And I think she probably predicted that he would go on to betray his son as well. So anyway, interesting little lore tie-ins with Loghain. Where's Caitlin? King Caelin Theron fell in battle alongside Duncan at Ostagar. The only thing that I really had wanted to mention about this is Merrick actually gets injured by an ogre in the Deep Roads when he's traveling with the Grey Wardens in much the same way. An ogre picks him up and, you know, kind of crushes his body. He is able to be saved. A mage that he's traveling with heals his wounds. But there are a lot of parallels between King Caelin and what happens with him and Merrick's early story. I definitely recommend reading Stolen Throne and The Calling, because these are, the majority of them are characters that we end up meeting, and it's just a really good setup for this game. So, oh, Duncan. Let's talk about Duncan. I love that we don't get an entry on Duncan until he's dead, and then all it says is that he got killed. Like, it's not very exciting. He was killed in battle against overwhelming numbers of Darkspawn in Ostagar alongside King Kaelin. So, Duncan has a lot more backstory in The Calling. I'm pretty sure that's the only novel that he actually appears in or is mentioned in at all. So when you meet him, he is a fresh warden. He has gone through his joining, but he hasn't actually been a practicing warden for very long. He gets recruited because he is in the middle of robbing someone. That person catches him and he murders them. That person was Grey Warden. That person was also engaged to a woman named Genevieve, who is a Grey Warden herself. And sort of as punishment for what he's done, she recruits him. And she's like, okay, well, you're going to serve the rest of your life as a warden and fight against the Blight with us. Initially, when Duncan becomes a warden, I mean, like, the fact that he becomes a warden because he was, in the middle of doing a crime should tell you a little bit about kind of what his personality was like. But he kind of, like, you remember Davith at the camp at Ostagar? He was kind of like that. Like, he was a bit of a shit, to be honest. He, in one scene, they go to the Circle Tower to get these, like, amulets that have been charmed so that the Darkspawn can't detect them. And the first enchanter is giving this, like, long, boring speech. And Duncan sees this female mage, like, making eyes at him. So he goes off to try to find some, like, mages' bedrooms that he can rob. And so he's going around and stealing stuff. He ends up stealing something from the first enchanter's quarters. And then as he's coming out, that mage that was kind of like, eye fucking him during the speech, she catches him. But he's able to just talk his way into her bed. And so they just bang while this boring speech is going on. And Genevieve has to go and find him and, like, drag him back. And Merrick, it's told, this scene where they come back is told from Merrick's perspective, and he said that they both looked, like, absolutely mortified. So yeah, that's, like, Duncan's personality in a nutshell at the beginning of the book. And he goes through a lot of growth even just in that one novel. By the end of it, he and Merrick are very close friends, and he has matured a lot. And as you can see from his character in this game, like, he continues to grow and become this absolutely badass, competent, capable warden. When I watch that cutscene, the look that he gets after Kaelin dies always just kind of shatters me, because it's not just like, he has no loyalty to Ferelden. I don't know if we've talked about his background, but he's not from Ferelden. His parents are of mixed heritage. One of them is from Ravain, and I think it's his dad. And then his mom is from the Anderfells, I think. So, yeah, he doesn't really care about, like, this is the king of Ferelden, like, this is a sad moment because this is my king, because he really has no loyalty to him or to the country. This is my best friend's son, and I have let my best friend down because I just allowed his son to get killed. And, like, you can just see the devastation on his face. And I don't know. Ugh, it just rips me apart every time. And he also deserved better, Duncan. Like, that was a shitty way to die. So, do I understand Logain's motivations for why he betrays them? Yes. Like, after having read the books, I don't see him as this, like, two-dimensional, mustache twirling evil villain. But still, fuck that guy. Like, I still hate him. I just understand what led to him becoming the person I hate, I guess. Anyway, that was a lot of rambling. So Sir Cothrian is the woman who was like Loghain's second in command, who he gave the order to retreat to, and then she passed it on to the soldiers. Some of us know what honor and loyalty are. Cothrian came to Logan's service the hard way. She belonged to a poor family and was out doing work on the farm when she saw a man on horseback being attacked by several bandits. She rushed to his assistance and found out belatedly that the man she saved was none other than the great hero, Loghain. Though she was hardly more than a child, he took her in, offering her a position with his soldiers, and she climbed through the ranks through sheer determination. Becoming the commander of Merrick's Shield, Loghain's elite soldiers, was the proudest moment of her life. Which, it seems weird that we're getting a bio for someone that we saw like 6 seconds of, but we'll see her again. Don't you worry. All right, so this is the shield that we pulled off of the Darkspawn Ogre, Havard's Aegis. And this is going to delve a little bit into the story of Andraste, who is sort of the savior figure in the Chantry. She's like if Jesus and Joan of Arc made a baby. Havard was Mafarath's closest friend. They were children together in the same Avar clan. They fought side by side in so many battles that Mafarath dubbed him Havard the Aegis, better to have at his side than any shield. Mafarath brought Havard with him to meet with the Tevinters. It was unthinkable to stand before his enemies without his Aegis. When he understood that Mafarath was giving Andraste over to be executed, Havard, unwilling to draw swords against his friend and liege, placed himself between Andraste and the Tevinter soldiers. The Tevinters struck him down, and Mafarath left him for dead. But Aegis was not so easily destroyed. Havard lived and made his way, gravely wounded, to the gates of Minrathous to stop the execution. Too late. He found only the ashes of the prophet left to the wind and rain. When his fingers touched the ash, his ears filled with song, and he saw a vision of Andraste dressed in cloth of starlight. She knelt at his side, saying, "Rise, Aegis of the faith. The Maker shall never forget you so long as I remember." His wounds healed instantly, and with new strength, Havard gathered up Andraste's remains and carried them safely back to the lands of the Alamari. And we'll learn more about, like, what Andraste was being executed for and, like, why the Tevinters were involved and stuff. Like, it will delve a lot more into that because I don't think we've really, we haven't really gotten to a lot of the parts of the chant that talk about her. So, but we shall. Creatures, let's talk about ogres, shall we? Towering over their darkspawn kin, the massive ogres are a rare sight on the battlefield. Traditionally, they only appear during a blight, but some records claim that ogres have been spotted in the deep roads, hunting alone or in small groups. At least one report by the Grey Wardens claims that an ogre was spotted alone in the Korkari wilds in 919 Dragon, though it was weakened and easily dispatched. Up to 100 of these creatures can accompany a darkspawn horde at any one time during a blight, often using their great strength to burst through fortifications and demolish the front lines of the opposing army. They use brute force to charge their enemies like bulls, slam the ground with their fists to shake enemies off their feet, and hurl giant rocks into the face of oncoming foes. Melee can be difficult against a giant that snatches a warrior up in one hand, crushing the life out of him or beating him into oblivion with the other hand. Harsh. The nimble can try to wiggle his way free, or an ally can attempt an array of stunning blows on an ogre to free the comrade in danger. Grey Warden lore urges caution when slaying an ogre. Unless it's ensured that they have received a major wound to the head or the heart, it's possible that they are lying dormant and will regenerate to full health within a matter of minutes. During a blight, most Grey Wardens recommend burning all darkspawn to ashes, dead ogres in particular. Now let's read all the codex entries on control. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're all caught up there. Let's go talk to Morrigan. Oh, wait, let's get some stuff first.
This should be easy enough.
What armor am I wearing if it's not that? Oh, it's the scout's tunic. That makes sense. Okay, cool. I'm using, I forget which mod it is, but it's one of my mods that makes the Warden armor in this game look like it does in future games, because the vanilla game, it does not look like this at all. And then they changed it for Dragon Age 2 and for Inquisition, and it looked so much better. So I'm glad somebody put that in a mod. Because the vanilla game armor is honestly kind of ugly. This is locked for now. That is for later.
See, here is your fellow Grey Warden. You worry too much, young man.
You're alive. I thought you were dead for sure.
I'm fine. I appreciate your concern.
Oh, this doesn't seem real. If it weren't for Morrigan's mother, we'd be dead on top of that tower.
Do not talk about me as if I am not present, lad.
I didn't mean... But what do we call you? You've never told us your name?
Names are pretty, but useless. The chastened folk call me Flemeth. I suppose it will do.
The Flemeth? From the legends?
Can I have your autograph?
Daveth was right. You're the Witch of the Wilds, aren't you?
And what does that mean? I know a bit of magic, and it has served you both well, has it not?
If you're Flemeth, you must be very old and powerful.
Must I? Age and power are relative. It depends on who is asking. Compared to you, yes, on both counts.
Then why didn't you save Duncan? He was our leader.
I am sorry for your Duncan, but your grief must come later. In the dark shadows before you take vengeance, as my mother once said. Duty must come now. It has always been the Grey Warden's duty to unite the lands against the Blight. Or did that change when I wasn't looking?
The land is hardly united thanks to Loghain.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would he do it?
Now that is a good question. Men's hearts hold shadows darker than any tainted creature. Perhaps he believes the Blight is an army he can outmaneuver. Perhaps he does not see that the evil behind it is the true threat.
The Archdemon.
What could the Terran hope to gain by betraying the king?
The throne? He's the Queen's father. Still, I can't see how he'll get away with murder.
You speak as if he would be the first king to gain his throne that way. Grow up, boy.
If Al-Eamon knew what he did, he would never stand for it. The Landsmeet would never stand for it. There would be civil war.
You think the Arl would believe us over the Terran?
I suppose. Al-Eamon wasn't at Ostagar. He still has all his men. And he was Kaelin's uncle. I know him. He's a good man, respected in the Landsmeet. Of course, we could go to Redcliffe and appeal to him for help.
What about those treaties Flemeth gave us?
See? There is a smart lass.
Of course! The treaties! Grey Wardens can demand aid from dwarves, elves, mages, and other places. They're obligated to help us during a blight.
I may be old, but dwarves, elves, mages, this Al-Eamon, and who knows what else. This sounds like an army to me.
So can we do this? Go to Redcliffe and these other places and build an army?
Sounds like a great premise for a video game, actually. Isn't that what Grey Wardens do?
So you are set then, ready to be Grey Wardens.
What else could you help us with there, Flemeth?
Now that you mention it, I do have one more thing to offer.
The stew is bubbling, Mother dear. Shall we have 2 guests for the eve, or none?
The Grey Wardens are leaving shortly, girl. And you will be joining them.
Such a shame. What?
You heard me, girl. The last time I looked, you had ears.
thank you, but if Morgan doesn't want to come along, I don't really want to make her.
Her magic will be useful. Even better, she knows the wilds and how to get past the Horde. Have I no say in this? You have been itching to get out of the wilds for years. Here is your chance. As for you, Wardens, consider this repayment for your lives.
Very well.
Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but won't this add to our problems? Out of the wilds, she's an apostate.
If you do not wish help from us illegal mages, young man, perhaps I should have left you on that tower.
Point taken.
Mother, this is not how I wanted this. I'm not even ready.
You must be ready. Alone, these two must unite Ferelden against the Darkspawn. They need you, Morrigan. Without you, they will surely fail, and all will perish under the Blight. Even I
understand.
And you, Wardens, do you understand? I give you that which I value above all in this world. I do this because you must succeed.
Kind of a sweet thing she says about Morgan. Plymouth and Morgan have a very fraught relationship, as you will see. But occasionally, there are exchanges where you can tell that they really, truly do care about each other. She won't come to harm with us. We will guard her with our lives.
Allow me to get my things, if you please.
Pack a bag.
I am at your disposal, Grey Wardens. I suggest a village north of the wilds as our first destination. It is not far, and you will find much you need there. Or, if you prefer, I shall simply be your silent guide. The choice is yours.
Morgan has a really nice back. I like this scene for that reason. I have questions.
I may have answers.
Always.
Ask.
What do you bring to the table?
I know a few spells, though I am nowhere near as powerful as Mother. I have also studied history and your Grey Warden treaties.
Can you cook?
I can cook, yes.
Then you can substitute for Alistair.
Right, my cooking will kill us. That's all I meant.
I also know at least 15 different poisons that grow right here in this marsh. Not that I would suggest 'tis at all related to cooking.
How are we going to sneak past the Darkspawn?
The real question is how we are going to get your friend past the Darkspawn, is it not?
That's true. We can sense the Darkspawn. Conversely, they can sense us.
Interesting that so much of Grey Warden mythology, I guess, is a secret. And yet Morrigan already knew that, or she wouldn't have said this. So it hasn't just been the treaties that she's studying. Like, she knows Grey Warden lore in general, which I've always found interesting. That's not reassuring.
We should be able to sneak past smaller groups, but larger ones, or particularly intelligent Darkspawn, will always detect us.
Mother has given me something else for them to smell instead as we pass by. It is important we head out of the wilds, however, not farther in.
Tell me about this village to the north.
'Tis a small place of little consequence called Lothering. No more than a stop along your Imperial Highway where travelers purchase goods from local farms and smiths. I would go more often were it not for the town's chantry. It makes the village particularly intolerant and unpleasant for a stranger such as me.
A chantry? And they never in all this time thought that maybe you were a witch?
Of course they have. They even called out their Templars once. They found nothing.
So she can also shield her abilities from the Templars, which is also interesting. Have you never been outside the wilds?
From time to time, I have been to the village I mentioned, watched its people, and pondered what curious beings they are. On occasion, I purchased goods from the village merchants. There I spoke with men a little. There they stared and knew me as an outsider. Mother wishes for me to expand the horizon of my experience beyond the wilds. Even she was not born here.
Is that what you want?
What I want is to see mountains. I wish to witness the ocean and step into its waters. I want to experience a city rather than see it in my mind. So, yes, this is what I want. Actually, leaving is harder than I thought, however. Perhaps Mother is right. It must simply be done quickly.
She's being so, like, sentimental about leaving home. Are you really Flemeth's daughter?
'Twas she who raised me, and thus I consider her my mother, born from her womb or not. 'Tis what you meant, yes?
It's just difficult to imagine her boning.
Young, married, pregnant?
Boning.
Who said she was any of these things? I certainly did not.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Farewell, Mother. Do not forget the stew on the fire. I would hate to return to a burned-down hut.
Bah! 'Tis far more likely you will return to see this entire area, along with my hut, swallowed up by the blight.
All I meant was...
Yes, I know. Do try to have fun, dear.
Would love to know how Flemeth gets her hair all, like, swoopy like that. Because that's not built into her headpiece. That's her hair. She must have some, like, really strong hairspray. Alright. So, now we have 4 quests to complete, plus one of our DLCs. We'll unlock the other one once we get to camp. Codex entries. Alright, I might call the stream a little bit early tonight just because my tongue is actually really starting to hurt because I'm talking so much. I haven't talked this much, like, all night. So, I will probably get through these, and then we'll go to Lorethrough, and then once we get to a save point there, I'll probably call it just because, yeah, it hurts to talk. Morrigan. So we had this just little paragraph last time, so this is all new. Her mother claims to be Flemeth. If that's true, the Morrigan might well be a very powerful witch, for the tales of the daughters of Flemeth tell of twisted, monstrous women who can kill a man with fear. She was made to accompany the surviving Grey Wardens, the payment, Flemeth said, for saving their lives at the Tower of Ishal. Flemeth. Flemeth's story is very interesting. You're required to do nothing, least of all believe. Ages ago, legend says, Ban Conabar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harbored a secret talent for magic, Flemeth of Highever. And for a time they lived happily until the arrival of a young poet, Osin, who captured the lady's heart with his verse. They turned to the chastened tribes for help and hid from Conabar's wrath in the wilds, until word came to them that Conabar lay dying. His last wish was to see Flemeth's face one final time. The lovers returned, but it was a trap. Conabar killed Osin and imprisoned Flemeth in the highest tower of the castle. In grief and rage, Flemeth worked a spell to summon a spirit into this world to wreak vengeance upon her husband. Vengeance she received, but not as she planned. The spirit took possession of her, turning Flemeth into an abomination. A twisted, maddened creature, she slaughtered Conabar and all his men and fled back into the wilds. For 100 years, Flemeth plotted, stealing men from the Chasen to sire monstrous daughters, horrific things that could kill a man with fear. These Korkari witches led an army of Chasen from the wilds to strike at the Alamari tribes. They were defeated by the hero Cormac, and all the witches burned, so they say. But even now the Wilders whisper that Flemeth lives on in the marsh, and she and her daughters steal those men who come too near. Morrigan's mother saved the last Grey Wardens from death at the top of the Tower of Ishal, but just who or what Flemeth truly is a mystery. You're going to want to put a pin in this whole codex entry and just store it in the old brain filing cabinet for a while, because we will definitely be revisiting that. Beau show. All right, Arl Eamon. Arl Eamon Guerin. Nobility does not exist without obligation. We owe all we have, even our lives, to our land and our people. As the maternal uncle of King Cailan, Arl Eamon is one of the king's most trusted advisors. Redcliffe, while not a large or especially wealthy part of Ferelden, is a critical strategic location. The fortress guards the western pass that leads to Orlais, as well as the major trade route with Orzammar. As a well-respected man, though not the most charismatic, King Cailan once said of him, "My Uncle Eamon is a man everyone thinks well of, when they remember to think of him at all." It's a backhanded compliment if I ever heard one. Okay, so got that out of the way. So now we can... I don't think there's much of anything around Flemeth's hut, if I recall correctly. Kind of a pretty little swamp, though. Little lily pads. Yeah. Nothing to see here. Okay, so we'll go here. And then the only places that you have the option of going after you leave Flemeth's hut are to Lothering, or you can go to your party camp. But we're just going to go straight to Lothering so that next time when we pick up, we can start right from there. Oh, good. Denerim.
And I expect each of you to supply these men. We must rebuild what was lost at Ostagar, and quickly. There are those who would take advantage of our weakened state if we let them. We must defeat this Darkspawn incursion, but we must do so sensibly and without hesitation.
Your lordship, if I might speak. You have declared yourself Queen Anora's regent, and claim we must unite under your banner for our own good. But what of the army lost at Ostagar? Your withdrawal was most fortuitous.
Van Tegan is not taking any shit.
Everything I have done has been to secure Ferelden's independence. I have not shirked my duty to the throne, and neither will any of you!
The Banorn will not bow to you simply because you demand it.
Understand this. I will brook no threat to this nation from you or anyone.
Van Tegan, please!
Your Majesty, your father risks civil war. If Eamon were here...
Van Tegan, my father is doing what is best.
Did he also do what was best for your husband, Your Majesty?
So those crossed swords usually mean a fight. FYI. Yay! Yeah.
Darkspawn, destroy the fiends. Only one shall stand. Let's get started. Come now, defend yourself.
Yeah, that's right. What did I tell you?
You didn't think our puppy was gonna forget about us, did you? I think this is the Mabari I helped cure back at Ostagar.
I think he was out there looking for you. He's chosen you. Mabari are like that. They call it imprinting.
Does this mean we're going to have this mangy beast following us about now? Wonderful.
He's not mangy.
Yay! I've always wanted a dog. Maybe it's meant to be. You can just not recruit him, which is stupid. Like, why? It's dumb. Normally, when I play a city elf, I name him Corin, which is from a little story that you tell some kids in the city elf origin. It's really cute. But because we're not playing that origin and that name doesn't make a lot of sense for this particular setting, we're gonna go with the classic Mabari name, Barkspawn. And he gets his own codex entry because he's such a good boy. Oh, we've got a few. Let's do Barkspawn first. The Mabari is clever enough to speak and wise enough to know not to. Ferelden proverb. Lina found this Mabari in the camp at Ostagar. His master was killed in the wilds, and Barkspawn fell ill from biting the Darkspawn in battle. Barkspawn seems to have chosen Lina as his new master now, seeking Lina out after the battle at Ostagar, and warning of an impending Darkspawn attack, because he's a very good boy. Who do we want to do next? Let's do Loghain. What'd they add to that one? He then returned to Denerim and declared himself the regent to his daughter Queen Honora, demanding that Ferelden follow him against the Darkspawn, upsetting a great many of the bands. Speaking of which, Ban Tegan Gweren. The Banorn will not bow to you simply because you demand it. Younger brother to Arl Eamon of Redcliffe and uncle to King Kaelin, Tegan holds the Banorn of Rhaenosphere, a tiny province of Redcliffe squeezed between the Frostback Mountains and Lake Calenhad. Ban Tegan avoids the Denerim court except to go hunting with his nephew, and rarely makes himself heard at the Landsmeet, preferring to leave politics to his brother. However, his brother is indisposed, which we will find out about very soon. So, he goes there instead. Tegan becomes kind of a thorn in your side in later games for various reasons. But I have to say, I really respect him in this game, because he's not afraid to stand up to Loghain and be like, no, fuck you, dude, like... Yeah, so. Annoying later, but for right now, respect. Queen Honora, so this is Loghain's daughter. We've been given the gift of freedom by our forebears. Let us not squander it. The only child of the war hero Loghain MacTyr, Honora has never been one to stay quietly in the background. It's common knowledge that in the 5 years Honora and Kaelin held the throne together, she was the one wielding the power. She's held in much higher esteem than her husband by the people of Ferelden, nobility and commoners alike, and commands the respect even of foreign nations, having once inspired Empress Selene of Orlais to declare, Honora of Ferelden is a solitary rose among brambles. Side note, Selene was actually sending letters to Kaelin while he and Honora were married, proposing that since she hadn't given him an heir, she was like, why don't you just break up with her, and then you and I can get married, and then Orlais and Ferelden will be, like, united, and, like, we can stop all this stupid, petty squabbling all the time. And he was actually considering it. So, sucks to be Honora. And what I don't understand about this is that, like, Logain's declared himself regent. Why isn't Honora just automatically getting the position of power? Like, they had no heirs. I guess it depends on how the monarchy is set up, because I know, like, who's next in line can be complicated and stupid. Like, if the Queen Mother dies, Prince Charles, or not Prince Charles, Prince Philip doesn't become the king, right? Like, it doesn't quite work that way, but, like, she is already so well liked by the nobility, and she's been the one wearing the pants anyway. Like, just let her do it. I think technically, like, maybe Eamon would be next in line or something like that. I don't know. Because, you know, presumably Merrick never had any heirs other than Kaelin. So, but yeah. Interesting that she's so well liked, and yet Logain's like, "Oh, you just sit this one out, honey. I'll handle it." It's because she's a woman. Like, we'll just say it. It's because she's a woman. She's perfectly capable of ruling, but we can't have that. Okay, so Alistair's ready to go. Look at him. He's like, "Let's do this, dog." I'm so pumped right now. My controller fell asleep? What's happening? What's happening? Sorry. It is not responding to anything I do. It's annoying. It's been acting real funky lately. I'm hoping that it's just... maybe the batteries
What
are...
do you wish of me?
Not great. Nothing. I just want to get out of here, y'all. I'm really hoping that my controller itself is not actually dying, because that would really blow.
Right.
Alright. Let's go to Lothering. Yeah, so anytime you see those crossed swords, it means you're about to fight something.
Wake up, gentlemen! More travelers to attend to. Led by an elf, of all things.
They don't look much like them others, you know. Maybe we should just let these ones pass.
Nonsense. Greetings, travelers!
Highwaymen.
Should've listened to that guy.
Those fleeing the Darkspawn, I suppose.
They are fools to get in our way. I say, teach them a lesson.
Now, is that any way to greet someone? A simple 10 silvers, and you're free to move on.
Bro, you're about to get fucked up. We're not refugees.
What did I tell you? No wagons, and this one looks armed.
The toll applies
Looks
to everyone,
armed.
Heinrich. That's why it's a toll, and not, say, a refugee tax.
Oh, right.
Right.
Even if you're no refugee, you still gotta pay.
Oh, so you're toll collectors.
Indeed, for the upkeep of the Imperial Highway. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
I mean, it is ancient. The Imperial Highway was built by Tevinter all across Thedas back when Tevinter was in power, which has been, like, centuries. So, you gotta give it kind of a pass for being in various stages of disrepair, right? You're fixing the highway? I think not.
Not much gets past you, I see.
It's not really a toll. We're just robbing you, see?
This fucking
Do
guy.
shut up. Even a Genlock would have understood that.
Yeah, I'm not paying.
Well, I can't say I'm pleased to hear that. We have rules, you know.
Right. We get to ransack your corpse then. Those are the rules.
You can try.
Well, this is going nowhere. Let's finish this, gents.
Let's do.
Let us end Let's get started.
All right, we surrender. We're just trying to get by before the Darkspawn get us all.
You're a criminal.
Yes, I'm a criminal. I admit it. I apologize.
I want some questions answered.
Well, what could I tell you? We aren't even from these parts.
What news have you?
Everyone's saying how the Grey Wardens betrayed the king during the Darkspawn fight. Got him and themselves killed. Tern Loghain pulled out just in time. First thing he's doing as regent is putting a bounty on Grey Wardens.
Shouldn't have worn this armor. Have you heard about any survivors?
Couple, maybe. A group of wounded ash warriors came by earlier. Got right out of their way.
Well, that was smart. Why didn't you do the same for us? What's going on in Lorethrough?
It's packed full. The band took his men north with Tern Loghain, so there's no one looking out for it except a few Templars at the Chantry. Well, I was just trying to feed my family, you know?
What exactly have you been doing?
Well, watching for folks fleeing from the south. Chasing from the wilds and farmholders, mostly. There aren't soldiers here anymore, so we help ourselves. We try not to hurt anyone too much.
What an ass. I'm done asking questions.
Well, then let me go!
Hand over everything you've stolen, you jerk.
Yes, of course. The coins we collected are right here. Just over 100 silvers. The rest is in the chests we brought. I swear.
Give it. Yeah, I'm turning you in.
There aren't any. Just the Templars, and they'll execute me.
Should have thought about that.
I'm not going down without a fight.
Alright, fine. We'll finish you off.
Right.
Might as well.
Too easy.
You can just let him go, but, you know. XP is XP, right?
As you wish.
Oh, these will come in handy. We'll take those. Forgot about that damn inventory issue. Get rid of that one. It doesn't have any bonuses. I think next time, when I fire up the game, I will
On it.
try to find a shop first thing so that I can get rid of some of this crap. Sell it. You said there were some chests. Ah, ha, 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 ha. There they are.
What do you wish of me?
Nothing, Morgan. Get out of my way. I was looking for chests, but not yours. But don't get me wrong. I will admire it. It is lovely, but okay. So here's the lovely village of Lothering.
Well, there it is. Lothering. Pretty as a painting.
Ah, so you have finally decided to rejoin us, have you? Falling on your blade in grief seemed like too much trouble, I take it.
Is my being upset so hard to understand? Have you never lost someone important to you? Just what would you do if your mother died?
Before or after I stopped laughing.
Right, very creepy. Forget I asked.
I really hate how Morgan treats him about his grief. Because, like, Morgan had a shitty mom. It's true. Alistair didn't really have a mom. or a dad. And he's had people who have kind of filled in as father figures throughout his life, and Duncan was very much one of those people. And one of the reasons that he loves Duncan so much is that Duncan is the first person who cares about what Alistair wants. When he finds him at the Chantry, that's why he takes him out of there, because he sees that Alistair is miserable. And Duncan recognizes that this is not what's good for him because it's not what he wants. And he's the first person to ever like show that he cares about that. So yeah, Duncan's death hits him really hard because it feels like he's lost a father. And yeah, I just really hate how callous Morrigan is about it. I will hate a lot of things that go on between the two of them. We're going to get real sick of their banter real fast. But yeah, that one just always really rubs me the wrong way. It's just really cruel, I think. Very unbecoming. You have been very quiet, Alistair.
Yes, I know. I was just thinking.
No wonder it took so long, then.
Oh, I get it. This is the part where we're shocked to discover how you've never had a friend your entire life.
I can be friendly when I desire to. Alas, desiring to be more intelligent does not make it so.
Anyway, I thought we should talk about where we intend to go first.
You have some thoughts on that point, Alistair?
This should be good.
I think what Flemeth suggested is the best idea. These treaties, have you looked at them?
Yes, I have.
There are three main groups that we have treaties for. The Dalish Elves, the Dwarves of Orzammar, and the Circle of Magi. I also still think that Arleman is our best bet for help. We might even want to go to him first.
Is there a way to contact the Grey Wardens?
Short of leaving Ferelden to seek them out, the only place to send word to would be Weishaupt Fortress. And that's thousands of miles away.
They actually used to use the Griffins as sort of, like, obviously the Griffin had a rider. It wasn't just the Griffin carrying messages, but the Griffins used to be kind of a courier service between the different factions of Wardens, but they did. So, no Griffin mail at this point in time. What do you think we should do, Morrigan?
Go after your enemy directly. Find this man Loghain and kill him. The rest of this business with the treaties can then be done in safety.
Yes, he certainly wouldn't see that coming, and it's not like he has the advantage of an army and experience and...
I was asked for my opinion and I gave it. If your wish is to come up with reasons why something cannot be done, we will stand here until the Darkspawn are upon us.
Barkspawn did not like her idea. Just want to point that out. He was like, it's not a good idea. Well, then we need to find these people.
I can give you directions, if you like.
Where do we find Earl Eben?
He'll be at Castle Redcliffe, in the far western part of Ferelden, next to the mountain passes. If he isn't there, someone will be able to tell us where he is.
My clan's already bounced, so we won't find them.
There must be other Dalish in Ferelden, in fact I'm sure of it. If we head eastward, towards the Brazilian forest, we should hear word of one of the clans that wanders that area. Hopefully they will still be there.
And not yet murdered by Darkspawn. What about them dwarves?
We would need to speak to their king in Orzammar. That means heading west into the Frostback Mountains, which won't be easy.
And what about the mages?
That would be at their tower on Lake Carlenhard to the north. We'll be looking for the first enchanter, whoever that is.
And what about Loghain?
If he isn't out in the field with his army, he's probably going to be at the palace in Denerim. We can go to Denerim, but somehow I suspect that they're not going to let us just walk around. Only a suspicion, of course.
That's good.
Then you have a plan.
Why are you leaving it up to me? I'm just some guy.
Well, I don't know where we should go. I'll do whatever you decide.
Now that is unsurprising.
Our Lehman is a good man, but I don't know for sure he's where we should go. I'm not going to fight about it.
All right, let's go.
Fair enough. Let's head into the village whenever you're ready.
Let's do. So, we've got one quest so far in Lothering. We'll have a couple of little, just very short side quests. We should be able to get through all of Lothering next time, I think. And then move right into our actual, like, big main quest line. And we will also do our DLC too. Probably, I'm probably going to do that DLC right after Lothering. Just because it gets us a person that I really like. So when we came upon that Templar body up on the little wall, this was the note that was on him. A note from Sir Henrik. So many of my fellow knights have been searching for the urn. Surely one of them must have found Brother Genitivi by now. Still, until I hear that all is well, I must proceed as planned. Brother Genitivi holds the key to finding the urn of sacred ashes. We always knew this, but I believe I now know where Brother Genitivi lives. I've been to his home in Denerim and found the trail. And I'm amazed that other knights have not done likewise. Unless they have? No, it's best not to get caught up in thoughts of conspiracy. Excuse me. Sir Donal awaits my report in Lothering. I must go to him immediately and report what I've learned. Should anyone find these ramblings, all I ask is that he be informed of my fate. I pray that he complete what I cannot. A note from Sir Henrik of Redcliffe. So this is one of Arl Eamon's knights that we have just come upon. He's looking for something called the Urn of Sacred Ashes. Mysterious. I wonder what that is. I bet we'll find out. And the Brazilian Forest. And then Lothering. And then we'll be done. There are places in the Brazilian Forest where the veil is so thin, the difference between awake and dreaming is next to nothing. In one such place, a woodshaper was born under such unfortunate stars that his mother named him Abelas, which means sorrow, and he lived up to his name. He could keep no apprentices, and lost his stock of bows in mishap after mishap until finally he had nothing. The rest of the clan began to fear that his ill luck would harm them too, and whispered among themselves of casting him out. Abelas heard them and resolved to change his luck, and so went into the forest alone to seek a suitable tree from which to make bows. At last he spied a young rowan growing beside a stream. He drew his axe, and the tree cried out in fear, begging to be spared. But Abelas said, "If I do not take your life, mine will surely end." With 2 strokes he felled the tree. From the tree he made the finest 3 bows he had ever crafted. Pleased, Abelas returned to camp and gave his bows to the hunters at once. By nightfall, however, the camp was in an uproar. The hunters had returned with braces of hairs which, when cut open, revealed only worms and sawdust. The elder said it was a sign that the hunters had robbed some spirit of its host, for it's well known that spirits do not go about the waking world on their own, but inhabit another creature's body. The elder worked a charm to banish the spirits back to the Fade, and the clan went to sleep hungry. The next day the hunters brought back a doe, and again the beast bled sawdust. Now the clan began to fear the spirit would starve them, and wondered what they had done to deserve it. Abelas came forward then and told of the rowan tree. The elder considered for a long time before declaring that they must replace what Abelas had taken from the spirit. So he sent the hunters to dig up a rowan sapling and bring it living to the camp. There the elder ordered the sapling planted and appealed to the spirits for forgiveness. There was a terrible sound then, as if the whole forest were crying out in protest. Darkness fell upon the camp, though it was just past midday, and when the darkness passed, a rowan grove, every tree bearing the frozen face of a terrified elf, stood where the camp had been. From then on, it was forbidden in every clan to cut living trees in the Brazilian forest. The spirits know nothing of forgiveness. The Rowan Grove, a Dalish tale from Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. So that place should be fun. Sounds great. Lothering. In ancient times, Lothering was little more than a trading post that served the fortress of Ostagar to the south. Nowadays, it's larger, serving Redcliffe and the community of merchants and surface dwarves near Orzammar. Its location on the North Road gives it strategic value, so control of Lothering has historically been a matter of contention between the southern Banorn and the South Reach Arling. King Calenhad himself stepped in and awarded the town to South Reach in the Exalted Age, which has largely ended the feud, or at least the appearance of it. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. And King Calenhad, if you remember, we kind of, I think, briefly touched on him last time, but he was the guy who basically united all the different, like, Alamari, and I think the Chastened were the ones who were like, nah, we don't really want any part of that. So it was like the Alamari tribes that decided to come together. He was the one who united them to form Ferelden way back a long time ago. So, okay, I think that is where we will call it for tonight so that I can stop talking and let my tongue feel better. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Lorethrough. I should be back next Saturday at the same time, 9 Central Standard Time. And yeah, we will hop around Lothering, meet some cool people who are going to be coming on an adventure with us. Lothering it's not the most exciting setting, but we are going to meet some cool people. So I look forward to it, and I hope I will see you then. Until then, have a great week. Duress Sherall.